All right, New Life Church, Tanner Bezet here, your local youth pastor, here to actually talk about the next generation, high schoolers in particular. How do we win them to Christ? I want to answer that today. I'll start off by saying you don't have to be a parent of a teenager. You don't have to be a coach of a teenager. You don't have to be a youth group leader yet. You don't have to be young and cool, I should say, in order to win high schoolers to Christ. I just want to give you two things that I think anybody can do in order to win a high schooler to the Lord, or at least allow them to take a step closer His direction. And the first thing is this: I think we can all start off by praying for the next generation, specifically praying for them to have fear and reverence for God. I don't mean for them to be afraid of God, but for them to have like a deep respect for Him. There's this whole agenda getting pushed right now in the States where really people just kind of doing what feels right to them. And I think in order for us to combat that, we're gonna have to start praying for our kids right here in Arkansas, in our local towns, not to be led by what feels right, but to be led by what God says is right. And so Psalm 34:11 says, "Come, my children, listen to me. I will teach you the fear of the Lord," like how to have respect for God. That's the truth. We got to teach them that. It's going to start off by us praying for them to do that. And if we do, God will open up opportunities. My mom, she would pray for me every single morning. And I saw, as I would go down for breakfast before school, her praying for all the kids. I remember one particular night, I went to this high school party, a place where I knew no one was going to be honoring God in their decisions, but I went anywhere. And as soon as I went, this like overwhelming sense of insecurity came over me. Like I wasn't supposed to be there. And so I walked out and I called for a ride and I went home. But what was that feeling I had that day? It was an answer to my mom's prayers, right? It was an answer to her praying that I would have a sincere respect for God. And that's exactly what happened. So we all got to pray, pray for the next generation. Start there. And then number two, if God prompts you to, the second way that we can reach and teach and set an example on the next generation is by being available to them, just by being present for them. If I know anything about high schoolers, it's just that they want to hang out. They want to be heard. They don't want to always just be told what to do. There's a time for that. Yes, I had to be corrected a lot growing up. But they also just want to be heard. My youth pastor, as great as he was at teaching the word on Wednesday night, guys, honestly, I can't tell you one sermon topic, one sermon series name, one sermon title from high school whenever I was a teenager. I can't remember one, honestly. I know that's probably depressing for him to hear, but I can't. But you know what I can remember? I can remember he making himself available to me. I can remember the days where he would just take me to Sonic and we would just talk about life. We would talk about girls, relationships, whatever, the things I was too afraid to talk to my parents about. I can remember when he would take me to play basketball, and then afterwards he would look me in the eye and say, "Tanner, how are you really doing?" Psalm 90 verse 12 says, "Teach us to number our days and recognize how few they are. Help us to spend them as we should." This verse isn't really talking about actually counting your days as much as it's talking about making your days count. And I don't know about you guys, but man, I want to be remembered as somebody who woke up every single day looking to the needs of others and how to meet their needs, how to love them. God has assigned me to do that with high school students in this season of life. And maybe He's calling you to do the same as well. I can't explain to you guys really a generation that's more hungry for the Word of God right now. But what they're more hungry for even than just the Word of God is to hear the Word of God in a real authentic way by people who are living that out. And so if you feel like you're in a spot right now where, man, you love the Lord, you know that every single day you want to wake up and honor Him with your decisions, and you want to teach other people how to do that as well, high school is a great place to start. And for you, maybe you don't have the time to give right now to high school students, like the actual resource of time. You just don't have that because your life is just crazy. You're all over the place. Or perhaps you just don't think you're well fit for it, although I believe that's false. To give you another way that you can help out kids as well is just by giving your finances. We do a few different Collide events every single year: Collide Night, Collide Camp, Collide Conference. A few of those are overnight retreats where kids can come encounter the Lord, and that's exactly what happens. They encounter God in a deep, fresh, new way, and every single year there's kids who can't really pay to go there. Thankfully, we have people in our church who love to support those students who can't. And so another way you can be available to the next generation is just by making your checkbook available to them, by signing a check for $50 to let a kid go to conference where they can hear about God and have an encounter with Him that may just, whet their spiritual appetite to really want to go after the Lord. So if I could just suggest 2 ways, again, to love the next generation, teenagers specifically, pray for them to have a respect for God and be available to them, either with your time or with your financial resources. If we do that together as a church, we're gonna make a big difference. So thank you guys, and y'all have a blessed day. Let's go make a difference for those kids out there. They need us right now.